I never understand why that's such a thing. People always ask, "What do you do with your dick?" And how long do you take to get ready?
That's
fine.
Fine to talk
that's
about.
Glam. People are always like, "What do you do with your dick?" And I was like, "It's not even a good story.
The stork takes it away.
It's attached to me in a less obvious way right now."
Right, and it's none of your beeswax, baby. Where does the discussion stop, and why does it stop at this place? What's between your legs? Why do you want to know? Because you either want to fuck me or kill me.
That's a good point.
Or control me somehow.
It's weird that like if you traverse lines of gender as we traditionally know them, you apparently forfeit the dignity of like your certain parts of your life, just not even, you know?
Yes.
It's one thing if we're good Judies and we're out to dinner and we've had glasses of wine and you go, you know, I respectfully have a question I've always wanted to ask about.
Do you have to tuck them lips? Yeah. Because I know
we have so many trans friends and it never crosses my mind. But maybe that's because at a young age, like I started seeing naked trans women in dressing rooms, and whatever questions I had got answered without having to talk about it because I saw naked women all the time.
My family and I, my mom, my dad, and me, were sat down watching the Crying Game, in which a woman opens her robe and there's a penis and balls there, and then the man, Stephen Ray, throws up, and then it was parodied on Ace Ventura with Lieutenant Einhorn, Sean Young, with a whole police force throws up when they discovered she has a weenie in her panties. Humiliating, disgusting, despicable, unbelievable. Let me tell you what actually happens. The men who came to my apartment and wanted the weenie in my panties didn't vomit. They did something else.
They were thrilled.
They wanted the candy, like Lady Chablis style. I have a man's toolbox hiding my candy. They came for the candy. I was the candy lady.
Right.
They came for that reason. I didn't have breasts, boobs, or titties at the time.
Well, you had them, but they were in a drawer.
Heavy, thick, naturals.
It was a little bit like Subway, where he had a tray and you had the different size titties, the different size hips, and you were like, and did you want big juicy titties today?
Yeah.
A cups? Okay, great.
Okay.
And did you want diggly earrings?
Yeah.
Or like, he kind of built you like a sub sandwich.
Yeah.
Did you feel sad when sometimes those men said things like that, where almost like if it was a different world?
I felt confused because I fell in love with many of them.
Because they would kind of say to you, if they're basically saying, if I didn't care about society this much, I would be able to care about this more. I've been with many a straight men myself. They come in an exhale away from. You're their like 4 a.m. Pornhub search.
Fantasy.
They are so worked up.
Oh, mama, they're worked up. And then, unfortunately, for many experiences, I've not had the misfortune, but once that's when the violence and the guilt and the shame can kick in, and then they murder you.
You were?
Yeah. I was a date, RAPED. I'll say this is very trigger warning for honestly. Yeah. I was, so this is a guy, he was a big muscly guy on steroids. Not big, he was like 5'8", and he used to love me to pound him. Okay, he was a big old bottom.
That's what I don't think people realize that's usually what they want.
Usually what they want, because they can't. But one day I had lost my boner for whatever reason, and this is before I even learned about what Viagra was. I had been training my butt very slowly and softly with butt plugs, small ones, incremental. I said,
the bean in Chicago.
He had a teeny little weenie, so I was like, why don't he throw that little weenie up there and let's get it cracking? Dagger dick, unfortunately. He was doing it, and I was like, this is unpleasant. I was like, and then I said, stop, I don't like this, and he wouldn't. And then he said, like the classic line, just let me finish. Date rape par excellence. It's the date rape 101.
But that also just goes to show that the way they've been groomed to view people like you who present somewhere between a gender, you're not even a person to them.
No, he would do this to any women. I'm sure he's done it to many women. 100%. It had nothing to do with my gender, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
But so then I was like, it was a date rape. It was not like a physical assault. Although it was assaulting. Let's not joke about that. I was horrified and ashamed because I felt like this weird, bizarre emasculation in a sense, because I wasn't able to perform and deliver as a man. But then I'm like victimized as a female character. Truly bizarre.
That's really complex.
Yes.
In the moment to like process.
And I didn't process it until like 15 years later.
Yeah.
Because I continued to have sex with him after I discovered Viagra. Talk about cycles of whatever, you know what I mean? It's hard to leave that relationship.
I'm sorry that all happened to you.
No, it's okay.
But I guess one of my issues with it is I assume that part of your queerness made it impossible for them to also like give you personhood and dignity and respect and like
Yeah.
In that moment, it was about him and what he needed and not about you at all.
Yeah, and
which is,
that's just about like
fucked.
men taking stuff and putting a pineapple, a watermelon, the American pie.